the God of the universe, spoke to me out loud. So here I am 20 years ago, been in several different businesses, but about to get in a travel business. And I'm going up to Nashville, Tennessee to speak to a guy that needs help. And he's looking for somebody that can train salespeople and market that. So I'm on my way up there, but I'm just not real excited about it. I'm going as a courtesy. But I am driving in North Georgia between Ellijay, Georgia and Chatsworth, Georgia. That's where I was at. And I was driving down that road, and over on the Chatsworth side of the mountain, the road comes to an absolute dead end. And you're going to go left or right. It's the only choice you got. But in that, I am thinking, do I really want to do this? Do I want to do that? Because I've had, at that time, at least 35 different businesses that I've owned. And so, and it's something it's exciting to me. You go do something. But my problem is, once I got it done, I was ready to do something else. Now, I came down that mountainside and was thinking and talking to God and meditating. And just so happened, just as I got to that intersection, what come out is just, well, which way do I go? And I'm talking to God. I see the road. I know where I'm going. But hear me. In a voice as clear as me and you sitting here, God spoke to me and said, why don't you go to work for me? Now, boy, that's heart-wrenching right there. That's about as serious as you get, but here I am. And my statement was so silly. And my answer out loud, because he spoke to me out loud. I said, you know how expensive I am. And then laughed. Now, that is silly, I know. But, I mean, that burnt in my being. Go to work for me. And right now, my mind is just buzzing, right now. Because how many meanings can that have? Good grief. It's endless, and it just flows, but that's what it's been doing for 20 years. But as we get into this and where you are right now, if you're reading this or watching it on video, there's times that you've asked, which way do I go? And you're going to react to some kind of an answer that you get. But in this day, that answer was, go to work for me. So for years, and I, in the next 2 miles of that trip, was not arguing with God, but stating fact. I am not a preacher. No. If somebody looked in my closet, they would absolutely panic. And over the years, it's been bad. It's also been great, but it's been bad. But in that, God, what does that mean? Go to work for me. And so day after day after day, I would get into that. What does that mean? Well, in the next couple of chapters of this book, we're going to get in detail on what that meant then. And then at the end of this, because it's still going just as strong, and that voice is just as clear right now as it was that day. Go to work for me. But I just look at that logo, and I'm looking at a television that's matches what you see behind me here. I'm looking at it in front of me. And all of that is just so awesome because I see Jesus on the cross. And if he could bow that head down that's laying there right now and look down at all of us and say, go to work for me. Now, what does that mean? What would you do to go to work for him? Now, look at that. I mean, really, imagine him looking down. I died for you. Now all I'm asking you to do is go to work for me. Go tell the world that I died for them. Because whatever we're doing is trivial compared to the God of the universe saying, go to work for me. Now, my mission is to get you to accept that price of Jesus on that cross. Now, how do we do that? Because this whole world is, or not the whole world, but a bunch of it is, don't tell me nothing about it, I don't want to hear it. Well, in reality, they do want to hear it because there's not a human alive that God didn't create. And that part that he created is hungry for his son. Hungry. So we got to find ways to feed that hunger. But it is hard to get somebody to go talk to somebody about the Lord. And if you don't believe that, right now ask yourself, in the last month, how many people I've talked to about Jesus? And in your mind, you've already got a number. And 99.9% of the people who will read this or see this, the answer to that is 0. Now, how sad is that? Look back at that cross. And Jesus sacrificed everything so that you could have life and have it more abundantly. All of us. At that point, it's you. I'm doing this. It's all of us. So here we are at M.A.S.H, Motivated Army Seeking Heaven. And it's our mission for all of us to get to heaven as best we can together. It's important, and it's going to be more important in the next weeks and months, if all this lasts that long, that you've got partners, sidekicks. Now, I'm a combat veteran. Been in more combat than I want anyway, a lot. Not a lot compared to nothing heroic about I ever did. Just there. But I tell you, it makes a huge difference when you're out in a war zone. And you hear me, even this country right now, there's a war zone out there. Good and evil. And they're fighting whether we like it or not. There's a battle going on. And I want to be on the side of Jesus. And I'm born again. It's critical that you be born again. Because contrary to what anybody else out there, not anybody, but a lot of them, if I die, it ain't no big deal. I get to go to heaven. If I live, it ain't no big deal. I get to go to heaven. So it relieves the fear of death. And then when you're actually going to try to be a recruiter or somebody that's going to make a difference in somebody's life, it's awesome if you've got a sidekick. And that's why joining M.A.S.H, we're all going to have sidekicks. We're all going to have somebody that'll work with us and stand with us and do what we need, because I learned in the Army, they never send somebody by themselves. If there's a mission going on, there's at least two of you. And there's something about that. And there's something about it. Now, if you're married and got a mate that loves God, hoorah! Absolutely. Because the God in them loves the God in you, plus the absolute flesh side of it, same way. You need a partner. You need somebody that'll go through this battle with you. And when you get in a battle, it's important to know that you're in the battle, and you will. But there's an exit strategy. However this goes, I've already won. Because the devil cannot defeat me. Can't do it. And the only way I could ever even think about that is if that he defeats Jesus. And guess what? That ain't never going to happen. So we're in a very traumatic time in this country right now. This morning, just this morning, and I can't help it, I'm a combat veteran. And I get fussed out a lot about people who don't understand war. You can't make it pretty. It's ugly. It's ugly. But somebody has got to do it. And God does not interfere with the free will of men. It's our choice. And so if all this stuff is coming to America, we're going to have to fight it. And it's here right now. I heard just yesterday, my pastor, he's over in Dillon, South Carolina, and I'm in Blairsville, Georgia. But it's Bishop Joe Grice is his name. And he's the pastor of the Dillon Church of God. And his sermon yesterday was just hide busting true. Men, stand up. Be a man. And don't you dare let somebody tell your children that they got a choice, whether they're going to be a girl or a boy. They don't. God made you. Period. And if we bow into that, we've lost our manhood, fellas. Be a man. Be the head of your home. Pray with your children. Let them hear you. And from that day that he told me on the side of that road, go to work for me. And after all this time, and we've done a little of this and a little of that, but I right now know what my mission is till I die. And that is to train how to get that done in churches. We need to grow them. We need people coming there. And if your church is dying, there's a reason for it. And let's talk about it and get it fixed. Because we can. Please get born again. And if you need help knowing what, call us, text us. We love you, and we'll see you in the next chapter.